You ever wonder why the most successful people, the ones who seem to have it all, often face the most brutal falls? Why do the brightest stars burn out, sometimes violently? Let me tell you why. Because the very appearance of perfection can be your greatest enemy. Welcome to the most dangerous law of all. Never appear too perfect. Let's dive into this by starting with a name that echoes through history: Julius Caesar. Caesar had it all: power, influence, the admiration of the people. To the Romans, he was near perfect, an undefeated general, a political mastermind. But his flaw: he outshined everyone, including the Senate. He flaunted his victories, he displayed his superiority, and it made him untouchable. Or so he thought. Behind the scenes, envy festered. It built like a quiet storm. A conspiracy formed. And then, on the Ides of March, 44 BC, that envy exploded in the form of 23 stab wounds. A reminder: too much success, too much power, makes you a target. Caesar was one of the greatest leaders the world has ever seen. But he made a critical mistake. He made himself look too perfect. And envy, it has a way of twisting admiration into hatred. So remember, if you rise too high without showing your human side, people will wait for your fall. And they won't just watch, they'll make it happen. Now let's fast forward to the court of King Louis, the Sun King of France, a man who crafted the perfect image of royalty. He ruled France with an iron fist, shining so brightly that even his courtiers were blinded by his radiance. But Louis knew something crucial: appearing too perfect breeds enemies. So at grand feasts in his glittering palace of Versailles, he did something shocking. He would serve food himself. The most powerful man in France performing the duties of a servant. Why? To remind those around him that he was just a man, not a god. By acting humble, even in the smallest ways, Louis kept the wolves at bay. People respected him, but did not hate him for his power. The message is clear. Never let them think you're untouchable. Show a crack, a weakness, even if it's fake. Let them think you're just like them, struggling like everyone else. Because the moment you make them feel small, envy will turn to rage, and they will tear you down. Look at modern times. Steve Jobs, a genius who revolutionized the tech world. But even Jobs, an icon, was thrown out of his own company. How? Because his apparent perfection, his brilliance, made him a threat. People felt overshadowed, alienated. Jobs learned the hard way that perfection isolates. Later in his career, he began talking openly about his struggles, his failures, how he got ousted from Apple. By doing so, he regained respect, and eventually his position, because now he was seen as human again. Let's not forget the more glamorous but equally tragic story of Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France. To the public, she was the epitome of luxury and perfection, draped in the finest clothes, throwing extravagant parties while the common people starved. She was the symbol of royalty's arrogance. And what happened when envy turned to fury? The revolution came knocking at her palace doors. Her flaw wasn't just excess, it was the inability to show that she, too, was vulnerable. The guillotine awaited. Now ask yourself, why does appearing flawless bring out the worst in others? It's because people don't like being reminded of their own imperfections. The more perfect you appear, the more you awaken the insecurities in those around you. The envy brews in silence, it simmers, and when it reaches its boiling point, it erupts. And trust me, you'll never see it coming. So what can you do? It's simple. The next time you achieve success, don't flaunt it. The next time you're at the top of your game, show humility. Tell people about the hardships you faced, the obstacles you had to overcome. Share your imperfections, those moments where you too struggled. Let them see your scars. Because the moment you reveal your vulnerability, you humanize yourself, and the envy begins to fade. They no longer see you as an untouchable god, but as someone they can relate to. Take a page from Elon Musk. He's one of the most innovative minds of our time, but even he often shares his mistakes and missteps openly, like the early failures of SpaceX and Tesla. By revealing these, he doesn't appear invincible. He seems like a man daring to fail, and people respect him even more for it. They root for him instead of tearing him down. In the world of power, it's not about being flawless. It's about controlling how people perceive you. If you appear too perfect, you isolate yourself. And isolation breeds resentment. But when you show your flaws, you become approachable, relatable, and most importantly, you disarm envy before it takes root. So remember, the next time you're basking in your success, don't outshine everyone. Let them see the cracks. Let them know you're human, just like them. Because in the end, perfection isn't power. It's a trap.